Hello, everyone. Sorry about the late niece of me. This is Andreas Pop Culture Guy, and today is the Andreas Pop Culture Recap, episode 4 on Abigail Alon slash the Penguin, and of course, two more shows to discuss. Of course, Daryl Dixon season 2, and of course, the premiere of Superman and Lois. So, yes, let me check my background. Sorry about that, guys. Yeah, but uh, one of those days, right? So, anyway, so we here. This is the fourth episode. Just want to thank everyone for supporting my channel. Please subscribe to the channel and hit that like button. So let's get into this week. Has been a huge um, episode week for Africa and Penguin, especially, and Superman and Lois. So let's do it in order. Start with Africa Alon. We got Africa Alon episode. Let me put this up here. The episode here that we're discussing, Darkest Hour, Wake the Power. So one of the best episodes of, well, just thinking over last week, is it the best episode for this show? I guess so. Um, I'll definitely keep. Yeah, this is tough. Yeah, I think I will wait to serve which one's the best episode, but I think this is a good container because episode 5 for Abigail Law was really great. It paid off a major thing that a lot of us have been speculating. Um, of course, with the teen, which we'll discuss here, and plus developing more on Africa as a character and just in general the series. So let's get into the big one people were, how you say, talking about was the T. John Locke's character, aka Billy, finally confirmed that he is, um, what is it, wicking it, and even in the the Wikipedia page and everything, he's now confirmed to be Billy Kaplan slash the Billy Maximoff. So very intriguing. Um, so we got his reveal. We see he has. So what happened was after the trial for Attica was done, and unfortunately she was possessed by her mother. Mrs. Harkness, her mother, who's in spirit form as a ghost, and she was controlling Africa. And Alice, has somehow got her powers fully display, blasting Harkness' mom out of her body. But unfortunately, you know, we all know that Attica has these kind of absorbing powers to take out all the witches' powers, and unfortunately, Alice became the latest victim from that like spell of absorbing witches' powers, and she died in this episode, which is crazy. By the way, let me discuss that. So we got another major death in this Alice. Alice did die in this episode, and I was very shocked that we did that. As everyone knows, he's from the comic books. Very interesting character in the run, in the Scarlet Witch run. And, she's almost like a half medium, half witch, and half like cop, like mortal. Like it's very interesting, and they did very well at that being analyst. But her death was very shocking, and plus, I was kind of like a lot of us maybe are disappointed that she's not going to continue on from the show or in the MCU. Um, was just really sad because I thought the actress that played Alice was really great. I think she could have been a great, uh, contribution to the MCU supernatural stuff. But at the same time, yeah, you want to get the stakes really high for the show or in general your characters facing, and I think this was like a big shock here, and I think they deliver it in a really good way. So very sad that Alice is gone. So after that whole trial was done, um, a- uh, you know, Teen slash Billy, scores, you know, Africa for not doing uh anything to save her, and obviously Africa says that it was a mistake, but then something happened in the conversation where Africa just goes back to her like selfish self and realized that Billy is Wanda's kid, and she say, you're so much like your mother, which I don't know caused Billy to remember who he is or cause his abilities to really merge. So he gets his powers full on. He actually has a possess um uh Lily and Jennifer to throw Africa in like a sand pit mud, and then after that Billy has a aggressively throw those two as well in the mud pit, and then he just walks down to the witch's road. So very shocking end here. Let me get a picture of this kid here. I just trying to find where because he had a really cool here. I think this could work. Oh, okay, this is a cool one. So here, let me share. Hopefully, it doesn't messed up like last time. Uh, let's see, share the screen. Right here. So see right there, you see Billy full on Scarlet Witch headpiece. When this happened, I was shocked that we did this. So really cool, very blue, really cool. Like looks gray as blue. So very like really like a highlight for this episode. I thought that it really delivered the reveal, despite all of us kind of knew that he was Billy the Captain. Like despite the the unfortunate leaks and the variety article that kind of revealed the name. Like we kind of knew this was Billy, playing by John Locke, but the way they presented it was really cool and just very awesome at the same time. And I wasn't expecting the headpiece to be, you know, a thing to reveal, and it was kind of cool. But besides that reveal, how was the in general episode five? I think episode five was great. It's the shortest episode for this series so far. That's always happened in a lot of Disney Plus. So one of the most important episodes are like shortest for some reason, and I never understand why Disney Plus, like in general, Marvel slash Disney Plus does this. It just does like because the trial for Africa, great, was very short. We didn't spend too much time, despite really cool moments in that episode. Um, I just thought we could maybe spend more time with these trials, but after this ending, I don't know what's gonna happen with the show. Like they really kind of throw us up the loop of like what's next, which is kind of cool. And yeah, I thought that. Sorry, guys. Sorry, I had to sneeze. So, you know, exploring more of like Athica's like darker past, which we do here. So, like, obviously, we discussed like Nicholas Scratch here. We got to hear Nicholas Scratch's voice for the first time when Billy the teen, is just trying to stop the, Athica absorbing Alice's powers. The Ouija board came to him yet again, and he hears it spells Nicholas Scratch, and then the voice comes up, and that stopped Athica from absorbing enough of Alice's life force, and wow, it, it was very haunting the way she stopped and the way she reacted was like hearing like a a soul like a ghost that she had heard for a while. So it was really haunting kind of scene right there. So uh like I'm going around with this episode. It was an okay episode with the trial being very too short, but several things since last week that I never know about, like never thought about this until some theories, channels, breakdowns, they kind of talked about this episode was very interesting, particularly Break Room I've been watching, and they're being really great. And there's one that they brought up that was is really interesting. I don't think, and it makes it kind of obvious that it wasn't Africa trial, it was Billy's trial, because like yes, obviously Rio playing out the moon, that was Africa. Her like ritual, like her. amulet as a witch, right? But there were just several things. First off, the person that got the most development was Billy here. And first off, like he finds, he's the one that finds the board, the Ouija board. He's the one tucking the needle to scratch, and he that's Tom Africa, right? And you know, he's the one that knows a lot of these spells. Like there was a lot of like I don't want to get into it because I got a lot of shows to talk about, but like there was like hints that this was actually Billy's trial if you pay attention. Like the way the Rage Board comes to him, he's the one that founds it. He's the one that stops Africa from killing Alice for her, right? I mean, he's the one that contacts Nicholas Scratch, right? And yeah, and that's something that's we have to kind of consider. So I think that's actually really cool, and that we haven't yet got to Athica's trial yet. So I'm very curious about that. So yeah, great episode. I thought it did a really good job of moving us forward to the show, and it just left in a very interesting place. So I don't know what's going to happen tonight for episode 6. So yeah, I gave this episode. I think I gave um, this is maybe a 10 out of 10 or a 9 out of 10. Great episode. I definitely say it's definitely better than episode 4. That's something when I was at the Galadon, um, episode 5 review and FC Bleeding Edge. Like, yeah, it was better than episode 4, which that was a very lackluster episode. So yeah, so I highly recommend watching this show still, and it's still being very interesting. So that's really cool. All right, let's get into the Penguin. Now the Penguin is really exciting. So now we get into episode 4 of the Penguin, titled Sentient. That means 100 years. Uh, wow, fantastic episode, one of the best in television show. Um, I was very excited when I saw the preview that was going to be a Sophie centric episode. I was really excited about that, and it did not disappoint. As you guys kind of heard in the news, this episode, it's at the end, is the highest rated IBV episode rating for the show and in general, everything, right? And that's it just shows that the Penguin Show is probably the best show we have. Like this show is becoming the best show of 2024, up there with Shogun, Fallout. I mean, even X Men '97. Yeah, this episode was fantastic. I think this was a 10 out of 10. I say before Monday report when we discussed this episode. It's one of the best. Highly recommend watching the show. Like I hope you guys watch the show. It's amazing. So, what is this episode about? It's so very interesting. We get everything about what we learned about Sophie Falcons. This is a pre. So we're seeing the downfall of Sophie Falcon and her family betraying her. Finally finding out, Penguin is the one that killed Beltor, and her moving forward of taking over the family business after the end of the episode, which is great. I want to talk about the opening so the opening is before we get into the flashback gets, uh, I say, we see another angle of episode 3, the ending where, Falcon, Sophie, and Penguin gets ambushed by the Maroons, and she reveals to Sophie that Penguin did kill the brother, and so now she's very upset. And we of course we see Vic crashing into one of the hitchmen. Penguin gets away, but Sophie does survive, but like she's kind of injured, so she calls her therapist Julia Rush, which we'll see a little bit more in this episode in the flashback, and then of course in the present. So after she gets kind of like unconscious, we see how you say a very optimistic Sophie Falcon doing charity here, for a foundation that her and her dad did to honor the mom who, like, sadly committed suicide and died. And here we see briefly a young Oz here, be the driver for Sophie, which we got confirmed from last episode, right? Really fantastic, and the way she treats Penguin was interesting. You could totally see why. Like, so I appreciate you see how Sophie is actually she was very nice to Oz, and yes, I like how the show doesn't forget that, like, she still is a elite person. Like, she's still a upper class person, and she does talk down Penguin several times. Like, you're my driver. You should have, you know, don't talk to my dad. Like, do what you're supposed to do as a driver. But at the same time, she does respect Oz, and, like, you know generally likes him as good. Like, she's not like one of those, like, hypocrites, or like this very rude upper class person like her brother was in that one scene where he spilled drinks, and he kind of calls Oz Penguin to clean this up. And I like how Sophie kind of stops him. Don't call him that. So very interesting stuff to see Sophie like this, and you sort of see why she feels betrayed by Oz, as he mentions a couple of times, and then even this episode, you see why this betrayal hurts her. Like, now I like how she says, when she was driving back before her arrest, like, now my father noticed you, and everyone it's always says to you, and yeah, so, and that's how he got his big promotion. So very interesting. I like that in depth, explosion of Sophie and Penguin's relationship prior to the present day, and it really helps to give us the contents of this rivalry even more. And then we get, of course, a young version of Carmen Falcone, played by Mark Strong. So the reason why they couldn't get John Turturro to play again Carmine, and it's because of schedule conflicts, as reported. And so they get another actor, of course, played by the wonderful Mark Strong, who is great. This is the third time he's playing a DC character. As that's one known, he played Sinestro in the Green Lantern film starring Ryan Reynolds, and of course he played Dr. Savan in the two Shazam films recently, and this is his third time. So, and he looks great as Carmine. He has the tilted glasses with the red uh, framing is really cool. Like, he really feels like a younger version of Carmine. And whether bad, this episode just tells you Carmine is a greedy, very evil, despicable person, that's very self-centered, and he is actually the Handman. And I think this show, I slowly to kind of, like, especially this episode, you kind of slowly get the payoff that he was really the Handman and not his um his daughter Sophie. Because in the beginning I thought Sophie was the killer, like in the comic books, and then this episode just completely turns it on his head, that Sophie was framed for this, and and she's forever now associated to the Handman, uh, moniker, because of what his her dad did to her, to like place on her, which is crazy. And I was really shocked and really clever how the show really reinvents the Carmine family, and like taking elements from the comic books and make it into this new exciting thing. That was so cool when I saw that. So obviously, so we got to confirm, like, obviously Carmine was a serial killer. Like, the fact that he strangled woman was very disturbing. I mean, this really pays off the stuff from the Batman, like, because he killed Catwoman's mom, strangle, and Catwoman's lover, Annika, as well as strangle as well. So seeing this fully confirmed, and like developing Carmine as the Hitman, that is really neat. It's something that I never thought to think about it as a Batman fan. So yeah, Carmine is very selfish, but before the downfall of Sophie, like, him and Sophie did have good terms, because she was very smart, she was very mature, she was actually helping the business a little bit, as the, like, one line he said, how like the Constant Hill was getting now finally receiving his calls because of what his daughter was doing, where at Belto, same thing with the comics. He, differently, of course, where unlike Alberto in the comic books, where he was really trying to get into the business, but Falcone didn't see him as the right hand person to take over the business, and just kind of slide him, uh head went over his head sometimes, of the family business. um Here, Alberto is a very weak person, and is just very useless because of his drinking and his partnering, as we saw from the first episode. It seemed like he had this problem, or drinking problem, or what else, right? And so Carmine is just having this tough time. And after he leaves, Carmine talks briefly with Sophie that he's thinking to let Sophie take over the business, because she's the only reliable person is like the one that's been serious. And despite Sophie saying you're trying to breaking tradition, I don't know if the family would go with that, but he will definitely forced them to go follow Sophie, and very interesting stuff. And it was very sad to see that never happened at all. So, so what happened? Like, what got her to be trouble with Carmine? Well, in this episode, first we get a cool introduction for a comic book character, well, a cartoon character from the Batman series, Summer Gleason. So. After the charity event in the beginning of the flashback, when Oz was getting the car, Summer Gleason comes over to Sophie to discuss this murder, uh, this recent murder that's kind of connected to her father and the 44th below, another club that's underneath the Iceberg Lunch, as we see in the Batman. And she's asking her for help to like give her some information, or like get the list of the girls that's working there, to build a case against Carmine, because she thinks the Carmine is the handman. He's the serial killer that's killing these young women. So so you get that, and Sophie is very conflicted. She's torn because, and then plus because she she knows realistically that he is the one that killed the mom, because she didn't feel like her mom was sick or all like depressed. So she kind of putting two together that like that Carmine is actually the one that killed the mom. She doesn't go through that. She kind of did stop. But what happened was Oz sees this and sees the reporter. So he tells Carmine about the reporter that she's meeting Sophie. And this is where Carmine did like one of those despicable thing that like you never think a father will do. Like you think he'd probably punish her, maybe it's smack her or something like that. Don't betray your family or something like the like Italian way. Nope, he doesn't have a very like greedy, statistical way. He frames his daughter of the crimes he did. So after leaving the party, by the way, Mark Strong is really great in the scene where he's talking to uh Kristen Malone playing Sophie Falcone. Oh, you're getting really ill. You're just displaying this bad behavior. Like it was really creepy. He's just like setting up this notion that like you're acting up, and like just foreshadowing what to come, her downfall. So after that party, after that conversation with Mark, with young Carmine, she gets arrested. We get the return of the detective. Uh, what is it? Detective something here. Uh, oh, Detective Kenzie, William Kenzie, played by Peter McDonald, a Irish Oscar nomination. Yeah. Oh yeah. Like, look at this guy, Pierre McDunn. I was like, hold on, let me see. Oh yeah, cause okay, he's a different one. But so Detective William Kenzie, we saw from the Batman, is back again. He's been an employer for the Falcone family, and he arrests Sophie for the crimes of the Hangman. And so, unfortunately, because Cartwright has connections to the whole city, he literally puts a hard bargain, like a hard punishment on Sophie. She needs to go to Arkham Asylum to be evaluated for 6 months until she's get a trial. Um, eh, Now she's becoming known as the Handman. So when she goes to the Arkham Asylum, I mean, first of the her being stripped and properly dressed as a prisoner is very welcoming for a dream. The music here was really excellent, just showing the horror of like being touched and like just being cleaned by random people in the prison. It was just like wow. So after that, she meet Dr. Julian Rush, and yeah, first time here, being assistant for this Arkham State uh, boss here. Uh, and after that, she goes to her cell, and here we got another surprise here. And besides Summer Gleason, we got another actual comic book character, Magpie, a new reinvention of Magpie. Instead of the true thief, like kind of character in the comic books and some of the various TV shows like Gotham or Batwoman or the Beware of the Batman. they made her into like an Arkham patient because I thought initially it was Harley Quinn, which was kind of crazy, but nope. When she said Magpie, I was like, oh, okay, okay, that makes sense. So we see Magpie, and this full sequence of the Arkham Asylum is fantastic. Very dark, very horror, psychological, like thrillers, like sequence, very like you feel really bad for Sophie that she's being framed, but she's also being set up by the Arkham boss to paint her as a crazy person. And when Alberto comes back, she's telling her that the Arkham boss wrote like a statement to the judge that she's unable to stand trial because of what she's not doing. And it's like, so he's on the payroll for Carmine to like make this thing awful. And wow, very sad. And her being like having electrotherapy on her was like very like sad. It was just crazy. And this one crazy Arkham patient attacked her. And then even worse is the second time they get have encounter again for the second time, but set up by the Arkham boss. He she like kills herself by stabbing, and so it was just like wow, it was really sad. Um, and she really hit her breaking point when she again goes to the lunch and sits again with Magpie, and she thinks that Magpie is under the Argobots, and honestly, Magpie was a little upset. But then she didn't expect the Sophie just kills Magpie. She kills Magpie by hitting her in the table, and then we get the great line, "I am fucking innocent," and like, wow. And then she gets like sedated. Then we cut back into the present day. So wow, well, fantastic. Like, there's a lot to talk about the Arkham stuff. Like they really captured the Arkham stuff that we saw in the Batman. Everything is very consistent, and really shows the shows what cares about the universe of the Batman. And this show's been really great expanding this new Batman universe that Matt Reeves has set up from 2022's The Batman. Fantastic. So, but that's not the break point. So we get back to the present day. Sophie um is rescued by Julian Rush. He's kind of helped her be kind of well, has her conscience back again, being like patch up, with the cut and all that. Um, and it's just very interesting with Dr. Julian Rush. He noticed that she was telling the truth, but he didn't do anything. He actually left Arkham like in that 10-year gap. And by the way, she was in Arkham for 10 years. Really sad that she was in prison for 10 years to keep her mouth shut about what was going on. And it was really until Carmine dies and Alberto was able to get her out of prison, right? So, so we got that. Uh, and one of the things that is very true, and I really like this is something that's been very true for these first episodes. Sophie's breaking point was with Dr. Julian Rush. She realized that every man, including Rush, has this image of Sophie that they didn't want to control. And, Carmine thought she was going to be a reliable daughter to help him, like, with the family business, but the crime, and, I don't know about that, but, like, just in general, the family political business, right? But sh went over her head, and, and in general, the family sees her as non-reliable. Like in general, she's a woman, and so like she's not allowed to do these things in the mafia kind of traditional, right? And then you get the Penguin, right? The Penguin is trying to control her for selfish reasons. So he's trying to control, like take over the Falcone family and be the new crime boss, like Carmine. And so he's just using Sophie to get the new drugs and get his drug operation back, and control that, with Marois, hopefully, but then now that's gonna off the table. So he needs to take down now Marois. I would see with the preview if you stick around towards the end of the episode. Uh, and then you got Julian Rush, where Rush, like in a very psychological way, he is trying to, not innocent. Like he wants to like control Sophie as like this beautiful woman, like like a very typical house wife, or this very man controlling woman kind of type of scenario where she's this very fragile person and she needs help. And that's not what Sophie wants. Like Sophie is very smart and she knows what Rush is doing. Like Rush does like her, but he's just putting these things in her mind. Like the fact she's just to go start have a fresh start going to Italy, right? And it's like, dude, what are you doing? You can say that to her, like she's, like the fact that I know that she was framed, like she's not that crazy. She's a well-adjusted, smart person, but she will kill no matter what, right? I mean, she did kill the kid in episode one, to show that she's like way past being, a nice person. Um, so you get that. Um, then you have this dinner scene in the Falcone mansion, right? And everyone's laughing, and you're seeing like the regulars that we've seen the last three, 4 episodes, right? And Sylvie comes in, everything goes quiet, and then of course Luca, the brother of Falcone, Carmine, does a kind of speech. But then I like how this is like going way back, paying off Sophie's line, like I'm not a person that makes speeches, and she scrolls everyone of her, of their betrayal on her, and she needed help from them, but instead, they know her, and and she brought her brother, who's the only person that was trying to help her get out, which is true, and that's why it's really sad now that he's gone, because he was generally was the person that stick up to her, and with the flashbacks, that just made a lot of sense. Um, Never expect Edward to be a good brother, but he really was, and she tells them that she will leave and start a new life now. That is where. So then the next thing you see her taking one of her cousin's daughters to the greenhouse for some bizarre reason I didn't know. Right, she has cake too, and so she, is taking this way. Why? Because she wakes up in the morning, she has this bag where she has this gas mask to not breathe the toxin air, because apparently he put the gasoline the gas air, gas air, like the gas that heats up, or fuels somewhat the air of the house for the air conditioner, or the heat, right? She sprays in the whole house and poisons everyone and pretty much kill everyone of the whole Falcone family. Like Luca's dead, the bodyguard, the cut, the mom is dead, the cousin, Carol, or Carl, something like that. Just give me a minute here. Yeah, a lot of characters here to remember. Give me a second here. So let me put back this page here. Uh, yeah, Caroline. Yeah, Carol Vita, Sophie's cousin. She dies as well. Um, yeah, it was really shocking. That was one of the shocking things. And then she goes to this other room that before the we see the aftermath. She opened the window while she was smoking, and she actually kept Johnny Vito alive. So I was first off, I killing. She's now the only Falcone alive. She's the only one alive from the bottom line, and that was crazy. She killed everyone, and then plus keeping Johnny Vito was kind of crazy. But now I'm kind of kind of be happy when Penguin does kill him now. So because no worries about brownies. So that was really shocking. And then she tells Johnny to wake up and put her pants on. That they need to talk, and then episode ends. Like as you see me just going down bit of this episode, just shows you how great this episode really was last Sunday. It was fantastic. I still love it. I saw this episode twice, so it just mean lots. So it was a great episode. One of the Jeff brought this up late. It was a great filler episode. I think this was an important episode to move forward the show with, particularly with Sophie. So now she has control of the family, and she's gonna do it her own way, and nothing is is going against her except for Penguin. So very exciting. We got like four more episodes we until November 10th, so that was really crazy that we're almost there. So very exciting. I'm like so excited to see next Sunday. This show is it's been very fun to review the show these last couple of weeks, and I think the show has been great. They've been very consistent, which is really awesome. Yeah, this is really great. Very curious where we're gonna end. I so to wrap up the thing, I will add this uh to discussion. I hope Sophie does survive the end of the series. I think she could have been a great addition to the Rogues Gallery for the Batman Part Two. I think I could see her be part of Matt Reeves' plan, maybe, because I just think she just has the presence and the background, just everything makes her a really great character. I think you could chew on after the show because she has such great rivalry against the Penguin. I think that'd be a great way to see a gang war between these two in a movie. So yeah, I hope she does survive. So thank you everyone for joining me talking about the Penguin episode three. So now let's get into Daryl Dixon. Book of Carol, season two, episode three. So let me get the look at stuff here. This is gonna be maybe a short talk for this because this episode was okay. I thought it wasn't good as episode two, but better than episode one of season two premiere. Uh, the, so I was discussing this after we were done with the Penguin. Me, Jeff did a review for episode three. And when as usual, us just talking the episode, and then we went a little ramble a little bit about what he did in general, which was really great, and then we rate this episode. Yeah. Let me put myself back up again. So let me don't forget to okay. All right, let me put this. Um so this episode was okay. I gave it an 8.5 out of 10, or 8 out of 10. Yeah, 8 out of 10 last Monday. It was a good episode. As I say, for it's better than episode one of season two, but not as good as last episode, episode two. Um, and it's the reason why is I think there was just way too much plot storylines going on in this episode because we got the Durant Carol's scenes, which I like more, and then you got the next thing, the next storyline where Laurent is almost going to be bitten by a walker, and we got unfortunately we had another major character from season one got killed. That was Sylphie, which is really sad. Um, it was just way too much. I think the Canadians streamlined this episode a little bit. Um, First off, Durant. Durant is a great villain. I think she's very fascinating. I think she's been the best part about the show. It was great to see the flashback of where she was. She was a very timid person. She was like a janitor in like the biggest museum that hold the Mona Lisa, and you see, uh, you know, that she's get kind of pushed around. She doesn't really stand up for herself, like very typical Michelle Pfeiffer Catwoman thing, right? And her coworkers are trying to do a strike against the boss for these very like hours, like very poor conditions, right? Her friend, very interesting because we do see her friend being her right hand woman towards the end of the episode. Like she survived from the outbreak, and it's very easy to contrast how she was the one pushing, Duran to be stand up to herself and be powerful. Where now she's literally like that, and it's just like not like taking no for an answer, or like just being very, you know, very outgoing compared to she was in pre-pandemic, which is great. So we discovered she was married. So unfortunately, the pandemic is actually kicking on. There was a warning in their cell phones that they had to be in safe place, and uh, while she's talking to her husband, she's trying to get her husband to get in. Um, and unfortunately, in a very stupid way, in a very comedic way, they're reaching their hands in the windows, and he's trying to like they were you know, it was a very lovely scene, but then the one of the walkers come in and like they kill the husband in the neck, and of course we get the typical like horror scream of her, and it's like, no, my husband. I I was very sad for Joran losing the husband, but the way it happened and like how it was shot was so poorly executed. Like it could have been great. Like all of a sudden the walker attack, like a couple of walkers attack him, and like that was really horrific. But it was like one walker, and like he just stand there and just allow him to be bitten. It was like so stupid. It's just like wow. But anyway, so we see that like we saw that a little afterwards, but so Carol, you know, didn't get captured. Like she got picked up by Drunt's army, right? And you see she's with now the arm, like the area of Drunt's like revolution. She's seeing where what they're doing. Like she's like they're still doing experiments. They're trying to build like an army of super enhanced walkers. Uh, you know, and she's trying to find Daryl. So she's helping one of these like people that are like, in that compound and tried to find Daryl. And so she's like looking around at like the of this like you know facility of the revolution that Jaron's running. Then at the same time we got that storyline and like Daryl, Isabel are trying to get back to the castle to save Laurent from this like prophecy ritual, right? And Sylvie has was captured last week, but uh she escapes from her room. Uh Larson, the leader, right, is trying to convince her to stop doing this and like come back to their room, but unfortunately she drops down and she gets killed. And I didn't like they kill off Sylvie. I just thought it'd be great to have like it's a typical book being theme, but like sometimes killing another character. Sometimes really it was unnecessary, and this was unnecessary. I don't think you needed to kill Sophie, but what am I gonna say? More focus on Daryl and important characters that we like makes a lot of sense. So you know, cutting one down is it's totally fine. But yeah, I just took that issue. And they do save Laurent. They you know they stopped the ritual, but I was very annoyed that Daryl was unable to kill the leader. I mean, he had like a great aim to like kill him, but that didn't happen. Um, yeah, and then of course Carol is looking around. She finds Courant, and Courant gave her the location of the nest, but she gets betrayed by one of these ladies. Hold on, let me see this here. Uh, uh yeah, funny. That's a danger to go from this. Yeah, so Carol's new friend Remy and the girl portrays in order to save his husband Julian, giving up the nest location to Ron. So you know, so like she gets captured and like she lies against her Ron that the reason she's here is that she's trying to kill Daryl. So she does agree and like they set up an army and uh like towards them the episode Jared agrees to work with her, but near the nest, Jared prepares to kill all like a crowd of people, including Carol, to turn them into uh emperors as weapons for her attack in the nest. So like the enhanced walkers that we saw recently, uh, one and in this episode. So that's really intriguing. And then of course, while they were trying to escape in the nest, you know, Daryl and uh, Isabel were captured and they're being tortured by them and trying to find where's Laurent and all that. And yeah, that's how this. So it was an okay episode. I don't want to stick too long because I want to talk about Superman Lois, but it was a fine episode. I am still liking the show. I don't think it's. I think right now is the best right now since season one. I think season one was still the best. I think it's just because we now adding Carol to the season, they're juggling like two major storylines. I think I knew there was going to be a problem where there's just too many characters, and yeah, it's super bizarre. Um, like Ash, like I can't remember. I think Ash is still working on the plane. So like he hasn't died yet. I hope he survives, but yeah, so it's something. We got three more episodes, so hopefully they can stick the landing for the season two. But right now, it's not. being top tier like the first season. So, but as you know, it's like you're expanding and doing a lot more in the later seasons. So yeah, the 8 out of 10 for this episode 3 for Daryl Dixon, Book of Carol. So as I said previously, last week, we have a new show to discuss. And yeah, and you guys know this. This is Superman and Lois. Uh, Fantastic series. One of the best iteration for a Superman show. Um, I gotta say, the two episode premiere was spectacular. Uh, One of the best. This is everyone's known Superman Lois is entering its fourth and final season um, for this year, and they only have a 10 episode run due to recently the CW kind of was sell off by some company I'm trying to remember, and so they're kind of like reducing scripted programs. So like, fortunately, a lot of the Arrowverse shows got canceled or like they were ending already. Summit Lowe's was running at this time, but then they got fortunately they decided to end their show, and so like there was a lot of compromising, like their budgets a little bit, and then the cast. So like so far, half the cast from the first three seasons were cut, or going to be guest starring in maybe one episode, so far. And so and the end of season three. So remind people. So the end of season three, Lex Luthor gets out of prison. Um, Bruno Mahai and the Intrigan are stopped by Superman, and Lex wants to take revenge on Lois because Lois, uh, like I say, exposed Lex crimes, and like he got arrested. Well, he got framed by Bruno Mahai, a crime that he didn't commit. So that's how he got into prison for a long time. 17 years or something like that. I'm just trying to figure out how many years that Lex was in prison. Let me get here. Collision charge. Da, 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 yeah. Da, da, so, I mean, yeah. I don't know how many years Lex was, but anyway, he's in prison. Let me check here. Superman Lois. We got this is how fast the show is. Uh, so yeah, wait, I think I got it. Okay, so let me do this here. Hopefully this is slow my computer. Try to find Lex name here. I think they didn't update yet this character. Let me go to season 4. Um, yeah, let me see here. Lex Luthor here. So Lex was in prison for 70 years. I got that correct. So I was like, okay. And after he was released, as part of his rant, like Lex uses Bizarro that was introduced in season 2. He's still alive. He was like in chronic state. He turns into, um, Bizarro into the new version of a Doomsday. So he becomes Doomsday and pretty much goes and attack Superman in the end of the episode, but we get the full fight in episode 1, which is called the end and the beginning, right? And during the episode, we see everyone, uh, you know, being affected by Lex Luthor. Like Lex in episode 1 purchased a hotel in Smallville as a new base of operations to continue to harass Lois and the Kent family. While at the same time, Jordan and the family are trying to rescue Sam from Luthor when his Hitchman, Oz, and Granger, who is that Granger is not her real name, are going to kill, Sam as well. Meantime, Superman and Doomsday battle reaches its climax when Doomsday apparently kills Superman. It was really crazy. They really adapt very well the death and return of Superman here. So spectacular, one of the best I have to say. After Justice League, the cartoon show did adapt a death of Superman, but yeah, very differently as well. So Doomsday kills Superman. He delivers the heart to Luthor and places it in a box made by a Luthor cord named Milton. Now, this is very important because last week I did this like long thing. I was talking about Brainiac, and Milton Fine I brought up previously is the version of Brainiac, and the fact that they hinted that twice actually in this episode when I first saw it. Um, they mentioned Milton, and then the end of the episode when they got the box for to hold Superman's heart, she say like, or Lex, be careful, like he's be careful with the Brainiac, and like it was really cool that they actually say the name Brainiac in the episode for like three times they mentioned Brainiac, but in his human alias from his post crisis and then his actual name. So that was really great. I will probably do again the end of the episode, the who's Brainiac. Well, maybe not. I kind of did that last week. So while presenting his corpses to the Kents, meanwhile, Luthor and his associate Amanda McCoy tracks his former estranged daughter Elizabeth. But I I think so. This is the main thing that's really interesting. So this new version of Lex is really cool. One of the best we have gotten. I think he's up there next to Michael Wasserburn. So this Lex is very much the Superman Lois type. He like has a family too, but Lois took away something he missed. It was his daughter, and he's trying to find his daughter. That's the main agenda right now with Lex, not only to torture and like harass Lois completely, but also trying to find his daughter at the same time because the daughter is right now currently hiding from Lex, and she's getting help from Sam because Sam knows her. So very interesting stuff here. And while at the same time, we got a couple of flashback here of like the early days of Lois' relationship with Clark, which was really neat. You see the next we saw the first flashback where he tells Lois her his like identity, and and it's a very sweet scene where he tells her like before they have sex, he tells her that she's like the first of his crush, like the first woman to fall in love and first to be the girlfriend for him, and that was really cool. And then you know, uh, and of course, Lois like Richard fight to have Luthor incarcerated, which he believes it was attempt to stop him. Oh, right, so like we see the one scene where we see Lex having full hair and like telling Lois to stop and because not her Superman and all that, and because he believes that he's trying to stop him from searching for more kryptonite to use against Superman because like us obviously Lex finds kryptonite uh, quickly and use it against Superman. So like this first episode was really great. It was just a great way to start this this arc and this new final season of Superman Lois. So that was really fantastic. And then we get into I'm talking about episode two as well. So episode two, A World Without, was fantastic. Really emotional and like just uh like like very like just moving. So Lana prevents the crowd of like Smallville approaching Superman's body. So like Jordan takes Superman's body to the fortress where Laura, the mother, places him in some stasis which are used for his criminals, apparently. Very interesting. While Smallville Maulers, so like after that we come back to Smallville and like everyone is mourning Superman's death, hoping to revive his father. Jordan attempts to locate Superman's heart and he confronts Luthor and his other associate Amanda, and then some with a Luthor coordinator named Sebastian Bash Malone. I see he has like no Wikipedia, so I don't know why they're doing that. Um, oh, okay, so he's like another character associated with Lex in the comics. But anyway, trying to find um the heart, but he made a rare mistake because he calls his bluff, Lex, but he discovers that Superman and Clark were the same man. So Lex discovers that Jonathan is this new Superboy, because last episode, Aldous tells Lex that there was another enhanced boy and like it's Superboy. So it was really sad. And then during the next night, Jonathan sneaks into Luthor's hotel to try and locate the heart with Sarah's help. So Lex comes into the diner and she trying to like stall her, and you know for Jonathan to kind of find the heart there, while simultaneously Jordan tracks the heart into like a shipping yard. But he is like all this was the deploy basically. So like Jonathan was kind of fine. He got out of the building right away, but but Jordan gets trapped by Luthor, and incapacitates him by not only kryptonite but also a sound uh wave that kind of weakens Superboy's like hearing senses and all his five senses really hard. We see that a little bit from his father during the first season or season two. But of course, Clark can handle it a little bit because he has a lot of experience where Jordan hasn't done this yet. And fortunately, Lex doesn't kill him, but he needs to hurt hurt them and take away something from them, and so he steps on the heart of Clark, and yeah, it was really sad what happened. And of course, Luthor. While this all happens, Luthor calls Lois and tells her to choose which son will live. So through he almost lets Jordan go, but he hurts Jordan by destroying the heart, and then uh while this happened, we'll go let you go while Lana locates and escorts Jonathan home. We saw that. So then after that, Amanda tells Luther that Sam arranged for Elizabeth to go into hiding. This is where we get the reveal that General Lane is helping Elizabeth to go into hiding. So very interesting. And then after that, the Kents go to the fortress to Mullen Superman staff, where Laura reveals a farewell gift from Clark by having AI hologram, like a hologram AI of himself to create in the event of his demise. Similar to Jor-El and Laura's AI here, we get now AI Clark to guide them. So yeah, uh two episodes to talk about. So what I thought about this, fantastic. I'm loving Superman and Lois this season. Very sad it's gonna end. I get it that they're trying to give the David Cornstark version of Superman um to shine, so they don't want nothing to how you say capitalize or capitalize somewhat the new Superman movie coming out next year in July. So it makes a lot of sense. They this is a time to stop the show and end it. And it's really sad because Superman Lois has been the most consistent DC show for the Arrowverse. This is the last show. I know that the Flash ended last year, but this is the last Arrowverse show to end, and that's really it. I know we're getting more DC shows, but uh, this is was the golden age of TV shows. For DC shows, I saw half the Arrowverse shows, but of course I stopped because it just got too repetitive and all that. So I think that it was really sad to see some of the shows go, but it was a good time and it was time to go. But I was hoping Superman was to continue on because they did so much good on this character. I think there was more seasons, but same time I agree with everyone in the comments and in general, you don't want the shows to drag along. Like the Flash for 9 seasons is okay. I think 8 or 6 seasons is good enough, but 4 seasons, yeah, it's a good number to maybe stop at. Yeah. So how will I rate these episodes? Episode one, I give it 10 out of 10. Great premiere. Episode two, I will give it still a 9.5 out of 10. I really like it. I'm very curious about season episode three. I'm probably going to watch it tonight after I'm done with my panel review on the MC Blanche on Agatha Online. So to see what store I saw the major day apparently Gerald Lane died. So I don't allow spoilers to ruin my fun of viewing. So sorry about revealing that, but yeah. So yeah, so Jermella was a new show for recap. I'm gonna review that now on after I'm done with Daryl Dixon. So because Daryl has only had 6 episodes, so this is 10. So this will be the third after the Penguin. So yeah, and speaking of the Brainiac, I guess I have to do that. You how to say the Brainiac thing because so obviously I've read the Brainiac thing and I'm very curious what they're gonna do with Brainiac. So as I mentioned before, the last week. If you're not here last week, I can do a recap here. Let me pull up Brainiac here. Great to see Brainiac here. No, that. Let me get here. Uh, Let me check the news for Brainiac. Uh, let's see. There's this. Uh, uh, let's see. Hopefully these pictures don't ruin it. Okay. So let me do this here. Yeah. No. Ah, okay. So Brainiac is maybe gonna be appearing in the show. I don't know how they're gonna do that. So let me put here what the producer confirming that. Um, like hopefully this could work. Uh, yeah. So confirming that is coming to see me, but he won't be played by Tom Covenant apparently. So Covenant. So I think I kind of expected that. So I guess uh the Brainiac is they're adapting the mid to fine version of Brainiac coming to the fourth and final season. Everyone knows that's the version from the 90s and late 80s Superman comic books. When John Byrne reboot the Superman comics, in Man of Steel, he reinvents certain things with the Superman lore. So, like, good example, this is Lex Luthor. Like, Lex Luthor was initially a mad scientist, friend of Superman, but in the new continuity after the Crisis on Infinite Earths, Lex became a businessman, and that's how we get to this, the iconic businessman Lex Luthor that we got here, that preceded in Man of Steel, and that became a thing in the live action stuff, like particularly Lois Clark in Adventure Superman, Smallville, Supergirl, and then of course Superman Lois version of Lex Luthor, and then Brainiac. So what Jumper did to Brainiac? So first, I'm a huge Brainiac fan. So last week I was like big geek out. Um, I thought that yeah, Brainiac, he's my personal favorite Superman villain, and it's a crying shame that he hasn't been in a live action movie. Very annoying every time the Superman films that are like stuck in hell development have Brainiac the main villain and just never pass it through, and it's been like like been a constant complaint throughout the live action experience. We haven't gotten a comic book villain from the Rose Gallery like Metallo or like Bizarro, or like Mr. Plick or what else? What's that? A Parasite, like some of the OG, like very iconic ones. And Brainiac is one of them. It's kind of crazy. He was initially supposed to appear in Chris Reeve's documentary, but then it was going to be a much bigger cosmic film, but then that Warner Bros. So stupid. They just cut it down. And we got what we got in documentary was so stupid, and then after the refilms were completely done and fell miserably with Superman 4, it got the film franchise just went into hiatus. And from the various developments, particularly Superman Lives, Brainiac was the main villain. Especially the Tim Burton Superman Lives unproduced project, it just never passed. And then whenever we get the reboot or the startup film like Superman Returns, when that film came out, obviously the director who may not be who should not be named, like wanted to do a sequel to Superman Returns, bit more action, have Brainiac in with another antagonist like Bizarro or Darkseid, he say, to be in the film, but that didn't happen because Superman Returns didn't perform as well as it should be. And then Man of Steel, a complete reboot, right? Um, and obviously we know the story there. The shared universe thing got really popular, and just we never got a proper Superman solo story. And Brainiac, it again just didn't get his due in that version. So And we don't know what's going on with the new Superman movie. Like, I don't know, like Brainiac's there. It's like maybe God's gonna save him for either a sequel or like a long term plan, which yeah, whatever. So, but TV wise, he's been good. He's been in the cartoons. He's been in, the live action shows. Like obviously, his first live action one was in Smallville, which was really great. They adapted a new origin story of Brainiac with using the cartoon show from Superman series where he comes from Krypton. That's my preferred version of Brainiac because, I like. I mean, I don't mind the Clue thing, like his alien planet Clue and all that, but like sometimes the artists and writers just make his origin story so complicated where he's such an easy character in paper. He's this crazy maniacal alien android or AI or android, whatever you want to make him be, like a full-on robot, likes to collect knowledge and all planets and treat them, and that's his gimmick, and that's his sole role. But the way we try to get him started, it's always too complicated. It's like it's very annoying, and this is complicated. So in the I have this actually let me get it. Sorry guys. So I got my book here. So let me put this back up here. I still have the page. Hopefully I can do this. Okay. So I got this one, the Superman versus Brainiac book. If you want like a so DC does a really good job of giving you like a single trade book of just the villains. Like a good example is this the Batman um Arkham books. So let me pull up like Amazon here. Hopefully this not gonna affect my goddamn fear. So let me see here. And Arkham. Uh, it's correct here. Mm, yeah, no books. Give me a minute, guys. Sorry about this. Anyway, so uh, like I could just put it up. So like the Superman versus Art Brainiac is really great. It gives you all the issues of all the Superman things. So like a good sample of this, I got the John Byrne's first issue of reinventing Brainiac. That's the Adventures of Superman. Let me see. I got the table of contents here. They can give me here. Yeah. So I got the Amazing Brainiac. That's the first issue. We got the new post crisis Brainiac in the Adventures of Superman issue 438. That was released in March of 1988. That was the writers John Byrne and Jerry Arway. The artist is Jerry Arway, right? And yeah, and then I'm trying to figure out. I think um, Man of Machine. Just checking out this Man Machine thing. Yeah. See here. By the way, I love running out here, so I'm like looking back at it. Yeah, and then I got also the Man and Machine issue as well. That was still part of the John Byrne continuity. Um, so what happened was in that issue we get this new origin story of Brainiac. So Brainiac, so and they still keep the Cologne um aspect of Brainiac. But so how to bring Brainiac here to Earth? So I see here like Brainiac has this new he's always referred to Vel Dax here. Let me get his like he has very ultra ego called Veldax, right? And his place origin is Kulu. He's like from that planet, another alien planet. He's a humanoid, so he's half human, half robot. And he's usually depicted as bull and skin. So what happened is that he transferred his soul and body into milligrams, and he sends his mind into this position called Milton Fine, and it affects the Brainiac here, so it made him into this human form, and so now he's in this body, which was kind of like okay. I don't like that's kind of cool concept, but I don't know. And then still Brainiac, and then the Man of Machine one. This is where Brainiac gets his full, you know, robot body here completely, with his central look. Like let me look here. Like he reborns his body into the green thing, and then his ship. He gets his skull ship that's so iconic with Brainiac, and so let me get here. Hopefully it worked. Let's see. Ivy. Uh, I can show you guys the comic that I have that may perfectly explain this for basic. Just give me a minute. Here we go. So let me share this for you guys. Just let me. Uh, uh, So right here. So let me put this right there. That's the Batman Arkham. So with that one, so the example here with the Superman versus Brand. So every DC has like a version of like in the titles of these characters, like the Flash, Rogues, or Batman Arkham, and with Superman, this man has this as well, where we have collected all various important or maybe like a very important issues of these villains and put it onto one to like a trade back. So starting with their first initial appearance and then up to like a current uh issue that of the characters in. So either New 52 or DC Rebirth. So I have here, and so that's what Superman versus Brainiac is. And so let me pull that up. Let me press Brainiac. Hopefully they have something here I can buy for Christmas. So yeah, so let me sit there. So here we go. So you're right there. That's the book I have, The Superman vs. Brainiac. So he's the infamous android here. So it has all the collection stories from the Action Comics issues 242, 48, 9 to 491, and then 544, 640, like all the various issues of the opponent's Brainiac stories that are like really cool, great into this one. And so let me see if maybe they can have because I know they don't show you the issues then. Yeah, there's other ones here like should be focusing on something. Okay, that don't have it there. Oh yeah, like Man of Steel one there. Anyway, so let me stop here. So let me go here. Do you see here? Here. So we stop there. Go back to the. So let me close here. Uh, like right here, the settings here. Sorry, let's see, right here. No, nope. Come on, do it here. Nope. Yeah, that's the image there. A little bit of it there. No, let me stop it here. But anyway, so that's Brainiac. So, they're doing the bit version from the John Byrne run, and I think this version they're doing is much better than the one for the comic books. Instead of just planting Brainiac's mind into the musician, that was really silly. I like the idea that this version of Defiant is a scientist working for Lex Luthor. That's really cool, and I really like that because they literally like doing something that I kind of like is that we're giving Lex the business role, the very more tycoon version, and then you get the mad scientist, but that's Brainiac. I kind of like that thematic, and that's always been a very cool to team up Lex Luthor Brainiac. So like that's kind of cool. We're gonna probably see that more in this season. Hopefully, if this Brainiac thing does is another thing they're doing. So like we got the scientists. I'm curious how this version of Brainiac comes in. Like, does the DEU has some Cologne technology that can maybe fa- find into this version of Brainiac, or Mutifying is going to do something that's like more grounded in reality instead of Brainiac coming from outer space. It's more of like he's building like a more technological advance, and that he places his mind into this robotic body that's like a version of Metallo, and like that's the Brainiac we get. So I that could happen. That this version of Brainiac will be not from space, but it could be from just from Earth, and then Multify creates the persona of Brainiac. That makes a lot of sense for Superman Lois. I mean, they done cosmic stuff, but I I don't know how they could just pull the cosmic Brainiac here. It's just maybe makes more sense to do the grounded one. But yeah, that's Brainiac. Yeah, so very excited for this season. I'm gonna review episode 3 next week, and yeah, very excited to add another show. So just wrapping up, I would just want to say thank you everyone for joining this show. I'll come back next week. Sorry about moving up the Heritage live stream review. That's going to be in the 27th of October. Personal things. So thank you guys so much. I'll be back very soon. And ciao. Bye bye.